Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the Finance and Audit Committee meeting. I'd like to first recognize we are gathered on the traditional territory of the Snuneymuxw First Nation. Our clerk today will be Ms. Sheila Gurry. Do we have anyone joining us electronically this morning?
I believe Councillor Gesselbrock is online, yes.
Very good. Welcome, Councillor Gesselbrock. Today's Finance and Audit Committee meeting will be held in accordance with the Community Charter and Council Procedure Bylaw 2018, number 7272. And if during the meeting any member of the gallery has a question on a matter that is considered by the committee today, please sign up on the sheet located in the table by the double doors to my left. And please note that the Council Procedure Bylaw states questions will only be taken on staff reports or any other business. Since we've only got one individual here this morning, who I'm sure will be polite and kind and respectful, I'm not going to bother reading the spiel that I often do when we consider that council meetings might be disrupted by others. The first item on the agenda is the introduction of late items. Ms. Gurry.
Thank you, Your Worship, and good morning. I don't see any late items on the agenda.
Motion for adoption of the agenda. Move Councillor Thorpe, seconded Councillor Perino. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Motion for adoption of the minutes is circulated. Move Councillor Perino, seconded Councillor Thorpe. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carries. We have no presentations. We have no delegations. We're on to reports. And the first is Debt Management Policy Amendment. And Ms. Mercer, you're going to introduce that. Welcome and good morning.
Good morning. At the October 6th regular council meeting, council approved the Finance and Audit Committee recommendation to amend the debt management policy to allow for long-term borrowing without electoral approval when the city is within the allowable assent-free borrowing zone. So the changes to the policy are highlighted in Appendix or Attachment B, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have on this.
Thank you very much. No questions from council? Councillor Brown.
Thanks.
For the rescue. Thank you.
Yeah, no, ultimately it's just a policy, so I appreciate that, and it's just reflecting changes, so I will vote in support of it. But one thing I was curious about is, like, some time ago, Event Center was proposed. Would something like that have been able to be built without needing electoral approval?
Through your worship to Councillor Brown. So it depends on the cost of the project and how much borrowing room there is allowable. So in theory, if it was, I think our amount right now is about $185 million in borrowing. Conceivably, if that event center was within that limit, you could, yes.
Right, okay. So yeah, thanks. I will support it. Like, ultimately it's just a policy. Any council could come along and waive it if they, or change it if they so thought to. So I'll be in support of this. But it's, I think everyone always thinks things will be used for things that they think make sense. And so I have some hesitation there around the changes in general. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Thorpe, and then Councillor Perino.
I was just going to clarify for any listeners that this change was actually initiated by the province and their rules, and it's not specific to Nanaimo per se. I think it's useful and reasonable, and I'll be happy to make the recommendation after Councillor Perino speaks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just something that Councillor Brown brought up, and I thought was a very good point. This is definitely just following through with the actual policy. But if an event center, for example, that Councillor Brown was talking about, came to us and we actually had the money in the bank, we could still do a referendum if we wanted to, right? So it depends on the council of the day, whatever is happening. If there's money in the bank, that doesn't necessarily mean that we wouldn't have a referendum just to get the public's endorsement or disagreement.
Through your worship, that is correct, yes.
Okay, good, thank you. And for that reason, I will definitely support this as well. I'll allow the council.
Councillor Thorpe makes the recommended motion, seconded Councillor Perino. All those in favor? Any opposed? Councillor Gesselbrock, you're in favor? Thank you very much. Motion carries. The next is 7B, 2026 General Fund Project Contingency. Ms. Mercer again, please.
Thank you. So in the last 2 years, council has approved creating one general fund contingency budget rather than having budgets in individual departments. So the 2025 budget was calculated at 2.5% of the 2025 general capital plan budget and was set at $890,000 with funding coming from that 2024 surplus. So staff are again this year recommending the same treatment for the 2026 contingency budget. So having one budget general fund contingency in the amount of $1,035,000, and again that's calculated at 2.5% of the 2026 general capital plan budget, and that would be funded from the 2025 surplus as we anticipate having enough money in there to fund this budget. Other funding options that you could consider are the strategic infrastructure reserve, property taxation, or you could conceivably cancel some 2026 projects to fund this budget. So we're happy to answer any questions that you may have on this.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Ms. Mercer? Not seeing any. Councillor Perino makes the recommended motion. Councillor Thorpe seconds. I'm not seeing any discussion. All those in favor and any opposed? None. Motion carries. On to C, Cybersecurity Cooperation Program. Again, Ms. Mercer.
Thank you.
Please.
So this report is to advise the committee that the city has submitted a proposal to the Cybersecurity Cooperation Program, or CSCP, from the Government of Canada's Minister of Public Safety, or Ministry of Public Safety. And this program gives time-limited funding to support a range of initiatives such as reducing cybercrime against Canadians, increasing Canadian cybersecurity awareness, and augmenting cyber security skills, and etc. So the details of this are it funds eligible costs to a maximum of $300,000 per year from the award date to March 31st, 2030. And the application deadline has passed. It was September 25th. The city's submission was for approximately $1,133,700, and that was for 2 temporary full-time positions. So one for a manager of cybersecurity and the other for a cybersecurity analyst. This submission includes annual costs for wages, cell phones, software, etc., as well as some one-time costs for desks, computers, chairs, etc. So if successful, the city would incur approximately $117,300 in costs over the 5 years to cover benefits, as those are ineligible costs under the grant program. So the 2026 to 2030 financial plan would be updated to include this project and any grant funding received if we were successful. So staff are here to answer any questions you may have on this.
Thank you very much. Councillor Perino.
Thank you, Your Worship, and a question through you. So we put the proposal in by September the 25th. When will we hear whether or not we're successful? That's my first question.
Through Your Worship, about the end of the year. We should know before the end of the year.
And if we don't get the grant?
We will not have those 2 positions.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
If no other questions, thank you very much, Ms. Mercer. Appreciate the update. Item D, the quarterly budget transfer report. Ms. Mercer again.
Thank you. So a requirement of the budget transfer policy is to disclose to council when a transfer results in a new project over $75,000, a transfer is over $100,000, or a delay or cancellation results. So we have 4 instances in the 3rd quarter of 2025 where this criteria has been met, and details on each of those instances is outlined in the report, and staff are here to answer any questions on those items if you have any.
Thank you. I'm not seeing any questions. Appreciate the report. The next is E, the quarterly purchasing report, single and sole source, purchases in excess of $250,000, instances of exceptions to trade agreements. Ms. Mercer, once again, please.
Thank you. So per the city's procurement policy, this report provides the committee with information regarding sole source single submission purchases and policy compliance for the period of April 1st to June 30th. Attachment A outlines the sole and single source purchases. Attachment B outlines purchases over 250. And there were 3 instances of exceptions to the policy for the quarter ending June 30th. And all 3 resulted from the scope of the projects growing beyond the initial expectations, and those are outlined in attachment C. So staff are here to answer questions if you have any.
Thank you very much. Not seeing any questions from Ms. Mercer. Much appreciated. I'm safe to assume there's no question period. I do have some small requests. Let's see if we can put some more controversial items on the next agenda. This is just too flat for me on a Wednesday morning. Anyone care to make the recommended motion to adjourn? Councillor Brown, seconded Councillor Manley. All those in favor? Any opposed?